about the chemical properties. And before we discuss about the chemical properties, just want to ask you whether you're familiar or not with this term. Do you familiar with the term isoelectronic?
No.
No, sir. No, sir.
Because I have a memory that I mentioned this long time ago, but I don't know. Maybe your senior kot kan, right? So isoelectronic ni, actually iso means same, electronic is electronic configuration. Elements that have same electronic configuration. So that is the definition for the isoelectronic. This is very simple. For example, let's say we have sodium versus magnesium, and the electronic configuration for sodium is 1s2, 2s2, 6, and 3s1. While magnesium, the electronic configuration for magnesium is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. Okay, and when we look at the electronic configuration for the sodium ion, so it becomes 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. And the electronic configuration for magnesium 2 plus is 1s2, 2p6. So both ions are called will have the same electronic configuration. So therefore both of them are isoelectronic. Itu yang dimasukkan dengan isoelectronic. Whatever element that will have actually not so accurate term element, I guess, because element is an element. So would be better if we change it to species.
Atoms. Species.
It's a chemical species. A chemical species that have the same electronic configuration. Ataupun to be more accurate, kita cakap ion lah kan. So because sodium and magnesium, impossible for them will share the same electronic configuration. But when it turns into ion, like a sodium ion and magnesium ion, yes, they will have the same electronic configuration. And basically, when we talk about the electronic configuration, we will discuss also the physical properties like atomic radius macam tu. Right, so we know what does it mean by the atomic radius ataupun ionic radius. So of course, it is impossible for us to measure the radius. Let's say this is nucleus, and then you want to measure the radius between the nucleus and the valence shell. Impossible lah. So what we can do is we measure the radius between two atoms. So that is atomic radius. Cara kita nak kira. Okay, itu je lah yang nak mention. I think benda yang, because when I look at the handbook, ada perkataan isoelectronic. So therefore, I think I have to re-explain ataupun mention about it. Okay, so today we will continue with the chemical properties. I will give you the slide, no worries. So just listen to the lecture, right? So we will talk about the chemical properties. We will not discuss all the properties of the element, but we will look at the punya trend. Okay. So when we talk about the chemical properties, I always emphasize that chemical reaction is all about electron at the valence shell. So same goes to the chemical properties. So it depends on the number of electrons in the outermost shell. And if you look at the periodic table, let me draw you a periodic table. So group, this is group. Down the group, they will have the similar chemical properties and they react in a similar way. For example, kalau noble gas, for example, kenapa diberi nama noble gas? Because they're very inert kan. So all of the members in the group 18 tu akan inert. And for group 1, alkali metal, for example, starting with the lithium sampailah francium tu, all of them will react with the water in a similar way. Okay, in a similar way tu bermaksudnya if you have lithium and then you add with the water, so you will get lithium hydroxide as a product. And the pH of the reaction after reaction would be basic. Same goes if you take it francium ke apa ke kan, calcium or sodium, all of them will react in a similar way. Ini yang dimaksudkan. So groups, that's why they group in together because they have the similar chemical properties. Okay, now let's move to the noble gas, group 18. Paling inert. Why single? Because they don't care. Single pun dia dah stabil. So dia nak buat apa lagi ada diatomic and so on, tak perlu. So that is why dia monoatomic. It's not like a halogen group where halogen group required partner dia untuk to become stable, like a fluorine, F2, and then bromine tu. So dia mesti ada another atom. So therefore, the halogen we call them as a diatomic, right? So it's a colorless gas. Even though they are colorless gas, but if we apply some energy to them, so the electron in the element tu akan, atom tu will excited and then dia akan produce color. Okay, complete with the, ni apa yang korang belajar kat SPM, is obey the octet rule. Okay. Right. You can read your own physical properties. This is metal. All of them is a metal. So, going down the group, macam saya cakap tu hari, the metallic properties akan increase. Ataupun the metallic properties akan increase. Right. So, what does it mean by metallic properties? Ni ada. Good conductor, and then dia become low density. This is not what happened lah going down the group. So dia akan low density and then very soft, very shiny. So this is metallic properties. And then it's a good conductor because of delocalized valence electron. So that is a group 1. So it's very reactive due to one valence electron tu dia ada 1 electron. So dia kena get out from the atom so that the atom will have the kita panggil sebagai octet configuration kan. Always form positive 1 here, and then they will have the same active nuclear charge yang kita bincang tu hari. And in the syllabus now, they will react with the halogen. Tapi for the current syllabus, you are required to know how to write the punya equation lah. Reaction with the chlorine and also oxide. For example, sodium react with the oxygen. So apa dia punya product? So you know, right? If you remember, we store them in the paraffin oil. What does it mean by paraffin oil? To avoid them to become oxidized kan. So reactivity increases down the group as the valence is further from the attraction macam biasa lah. And then we also talk about the ionization energy decreases, and this is the product there, reaction there. So all of the group 1, so you will have um sodium hydroxide, for example, and also hydrogen gas. Ni so very factual. Okay, group 17. What the most important is in the group 17 adalah, dia punya pattern lah down the group. Dia tak macam group 1 tadi. If group 1 going down the group, dia punya melting point dia akan lagi rendah. Okay, going down the group, the melting point dia akan lagi rendah. So if you have a chance to touch the lithium, so lithium is slightly hard than the sodium, then potassium is more soft and soft. But for group 17, very reactive non-metal. So basically, group 17 we react with group 1 and we produce salt. Contohnya yang selalu kita makan lah, sodium chloride. So because why it's very reactive, only 1 electron to complete the valence shell. So the contra, group 1 also very reactive. Okay. If you put in the water, so dia akan react violently kan dalam air tu. So group 17 pun sama juga. Why they become very reactive? Satu lagi, group 1 tu, because in order to achieve octet configuration, so they have to release 1 electron. Okay. And halogen, in order to become stable, they only need 1 more electron. So that is why both of them will react very reactive. But if you compare with the group noble gas, group 18, why group 18 is an inert gas? Because all of them don't bother with the electron anymore, because I already have what I want. So obey the octet rule. That is why group 18 is very non-reactive, but to the noble gas. So they exist as a diatomic molecule, and then down the group, the van der Waals forces increases, and then F is the most electronegative element in the world, because dia yang paling kecil, and then the value for electronegative dia adalah 4.0. This is the highest one. The reason is because they are the smallest atomic radius. Right. So you can look at the periodic table, kau akan nampak lah. Okay. Chlorine gas, bromine liquid, and then iodine in the solid. Why this happen? Because down the group, so dia akan increase van der Waals forces ataupun increase the London forces. Itu dia punya konsep dia. It's slightly different with the group 1. Group 1 down the group dia semakin lembut kan. Because increase in the metallic properties like a shiny, soft, semua tu, conductivity and semuanya. Alright, any more questions so far? If you don't have any question, so let's go to the next slide. So you can read lah. So this is down the group. S13 tu yang paling besar sekali. But the reactivity become decreased. Reactivity decreases. atomic radius getting, this is the fact yang korang kena memorize lah. Why the atomic radius increases, because you adding more and more, what we call it, the energy level kan. So, okay, decreasing the power to attract an electron to form a negative ion. So, dia punya power tu semakin kurang lah, because it's getting bigger and bigger, right? And then the melting point and boiling point increases because of the van der Waals. So you can read. So this is test yang selalu kita buat lah dalam lab. If you had a chance, so the halogen can be distinguished more by using the non-polar solvent. So they will show a different color. So semakin dark tu semakin bawah position dia. That is dia punya, orang panggil pattern. So fluorine tu paling cair sekali, tak nampak sangat, and then followed by chlorine macam kuning sikit. Lagi kuning, and then this is iodine. And then dark brown adalah acetylene contohnya. So kat sini, iodine is a violet. Okay. So group 17, selain dia form as a diatomic molecule, it also can form hydrogen halide. So hydrogen can join together with the halogen, so become hydrogen halide. So we have the HF, and then we also HCl, HBr, and also hydrogen iodide. Semua benda ni is a colorless gaseous state at room temperature. So of course dia akan form acid with water. So kalau dia gas, so hydrogen chloride is a gas lah. But if you blow into water, so it become hydrochloric acid. So dia jadi acid. So that's why kita blow the gas to the water to form acid. So it will become hydrochloric acid, and then what do you think the acidity strength from hydrogen fluoride to the hydrogen halide? Hydrogen iodide. Anyone?
Decrease.
Increase or decrease?
Decrease.
Okay. The acidic strength, siapa cakap decrease tadi? Nak bagi reward.
Decrease when size of halide ion is increased.
Decrease when size of the halide ion increase. Okay, good. Good try. So the acidic strength become increase when the size of the halide ion is increased. Strength of HX bond from hydrogen fluoride to hydrogen iodide is decreased. Kenapa acid dia strength? Because the bond getting weaker. Okay. When the bond getting weaker, it's easier for them to, if you see the distance dia dapat, ni dia jauh kan. So, of course, dia akan slightly difficult to panggil dia dissociate kan. Kita panggil, when we talk about acidity ni, acid or base ni, we talk about the fully dissociate or partially dissociate. So slightly difficult for the HF to dissociate because the attraction is strong. But dia akan dissociate, no worries, because dia adalah ada sifat acid. But if you compare between HF and hydrogen iodide, of course the hydrogen iodide will be the most easier to dissociate because of the distance is further, it's far. So it's easier for them to dissociate. So that is why acidic strength increases down the group when size of halide ion is increases. The reason is the strength of the HX bond from HF to HI is getting weaker and weaker. So we can look at the data booklet to double confirm kan. Okay, I'm sharing with you the data booklet so you can see this is a covalent bond, of course lah. Group 17 though, between them they have the covalent bond because sharing electron. So let's take look at the chlorine and chlorine. So chlorine and chlorine is a 199, but chlorine and chlorine is a 142. Bromine and bromine 228. So the distance getting now panggil panjang kan, it is because the size getting bigger. Okay. So look at the bond enthalpies. So you look at the bond enthalpies. Say hydrogen bromide is 366. Hydrogen and chlorine 431. Yang mana lagi kuat bond agak-agak?
Hydrogen and chlorine.
Hydrogen chlorine because of the position of the hydrogen chlorine tu dia atas daripada bromine. So that is why when they form a hydrogen halide, so dia punya bond tu lagi kuat because distance dia dekat. If you refer to the hydrogen fluoride, paling kuat ataupun paling tinggi the bond enthalpy. So based on this idea, when you want to discuss the acidity of this hydrogen halide, so we have to refer to the bond enthalpy. So daripada this data kita tahu bahawa hydrogen fluoride slightly harder for them to dissociate compared to the hydrogen iodide. So hydrogen iodide tu dia akan lagi easy to dissociate. So dia adalah strong acid. And the fact is, three of them ni, starting from chlorine dan ke bawah, is considered as a strong acid. And then HF, so weak acid. So the hydrogen fluoride is a weak acid because dia terpengaruh dengan the hydrogen bond dalam water. Dan tadi kita cakap, the acid tu dia akan the hydrogen halide akan form acid when we put them in the water. When we put all these gases in the water, so they will form acid. But hydrogen fluoride is a weak acid because of this. Ada pengaruh hydrogen bond. So, bila ada pengaruh hydrogen bond, so dia susah untuk dissociate compared to the hydrogen fluoride ni. So the hydrogen bond takkan berlaku. So dia hanya ada dipole-dipole and then easy for them to dissociate. Tapi ni ada pengaruh hydrogen bond. So that is why dia adalah weak acid, only very small amount of hydrogen fluoride yang boleh dissociate. Okay. So far, okay, clear.
Okay, sir.
Kalau okay, let's go to the slide balik. Hilang dah slide saya tadi. So korang dah tahu lah kan faktor dia apa, what is the reason why hydrogen iodide is stronger acid, hydrogen fluoride is a weak acid. So this is the fact. Going down the group, size getting bigger, and then the acid akan increase. Okay, halogen and alkali metal akan react very reactive, violence reaction, and then dia akan form ionic halide ataupun salt panggil dia. So of course it involves the electron transfer, and then you can see the next, this is equation. So ni yang berlaku. So X akan jadi sebagai reducing agent, Y akan undergo we call it as an oxidizing agent. Now I want to ask you, yang mana satukah dia metal and yang mana satukah dia adalah halogen? Which one is a metal and then this one is a non-metal?
X is the metal.
Okay, good. X is a metal. And then Y is a non-metal, ataupun dalam kes ni terbincang tentang halide kan. So dia adalah halide. Can you see these properties? Oxidizing agent itself will undergo reduction kan. So we also can talk about instead of oxidizing agent, halide as a reducing agent ni salah ni. Halide as a oxidizing, oh sorry, dia cerita pasal halide. Sorry, dia bukan cerita pasal halogen. So kalau halide, yes. Tapi kalau let's say we talk about halogen as a reducing agent, so jawapan dia salah lah. It's not hydrogen as a reducing agent. It's a halide as a reducing agent, halogen as a oxidizing agent. So these two panggil term je lah kan, terminology. So if you compare halide like a Cl minus, so halogen panggil Cl atom. So a substance that donates electron is called as a reducing agent because dia reduce others by itself undergo oxidation. So dia reduce the other atoms and itself akan undergo oxidation. So the larger the halide ion, easier for electron to donate. Kan? So more reactive it is. So yang dimaksudkan dengan down the group, increasing the reducing ability for the halide. So ini nanti kita akan cerita tentang dalam displacement reaction kita akan nampak. The same reasoning because outermost electron further from the attraction, so panggil less attraction, easy for the electron to be out from the atoms lah. So the attraction is so weak. Itu je reason dia. That's why going down the group, as the size getting bigger and bigger and bigger, so dia akan jadi a good reducing agent. So we will see this kind of reaction lah contohnya. Okay, the next slide we talk about the oxidizing ability of the halogen. So halogen act as an oxidizing agent, halide act as an reducing agent. So jangan confuse itu kan. Ini tadi saya dah explain. So what is the order of oxidizing ability of halogen? Paling tinggi adalah fluorine lah. Why? Because fluorine ni paling kecil. Kan? So bila paling kecil and then dia punya electronegativity dia kuat. The electronegativity is strong. So that is why they pull the electron from the others very strong and easy to itself get reduced. So that is why the halogen tu dikira sebagai oxidizing agent. Okay. What happen when you add a halogen and halide together? Okay, ini contoh lah. You can see we have potassium chloride, potassium bromide, then potassium iodide, and then you add chlorine water. So dalam exam, the question might write it as macam chlorine plus let's say bromide. So what is the reaction? What is the product? Sometimes Cl2 plus potassium bromide. So what is the reaction? Is there any displacement reaction occurs? So you have to look at the punya concept lah. This is halogen and then this is halide. So halogen position dia lagi tinggi daripada bromine ni. So what do you think? You have to look at the electronegativity. So fluorine versus bromine, yang mana electronegativity dia lagi kuat? Fluorine kan? So therefore, fluorine akan steal the electron from bromine. So what happen is Cl plus Br2. So you have to balance lah. Bromine takkan boleh wujud sebagai monoatom. So bromine need another bromine to become diatomic. So when you balance, you put 2 here. So now you can see the displacement reaction ataupun the reaction is possible ataupun feasible, spontaneous, boleh berlaku. Okay, sama lah Cl2 ataupun you can write macam in a full equation pun boleh juga. So you will get KCl plus Br minus. Ataupun because it's 2, we have to 2, then we have to get bromine gas. So, boleh jadi 3 mole. But what happen if Cl2 react with the potassium fluoride? What do you think? Is there any reaction? Okay, from the position fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So fluorine paling kuat electronegativity, right? So impossible for fluorine atom to challenge the strength of the electronegativity of fluorine by pull the electron ataupun the electron transfer out from fluorine to chlorine. No, there is no reaction. Akan berlaku reaction because of this lah. Because fluoride ni is a strong electronegativity. Andai kata berlaku sekalipun, so become fluorine and then chloride for example, then fluorine ni akan dapat balik. So the reaction won't happen for this. So ni dia punya table, so you can see lah fluorine and chlorine tak ada apa lah. What do you think chlorine and bromine? Chlorine and potassium bromide. Jadi saya bagi contoh. I want to call saya nak panggil ni lah Azim. What do you think the first one? So, bila saya panggil, buka kamera and then jawab. Ini Azim jawab. Mana Azim ni? MIA. So kalau Azim tak ada, kita panggil bawah dia tu Diana Nazrin.
Yes, sir.
Okay, turn on the camera and then answer the question. Apa yang Chlorine and potassium bromide. This is chlorine and also potassium bromide. So what is the product?
KCl.
KCl plus
Br minus.
Br minus. Tu. Balance tak?
Br2. Oh, Br2 lepas tu dekat depan KCl tu ada 2.
Tadi kan saya dah tunjuk kan. So you will get macam ni. So displacement reaction berlaku, betul tak? Okay, now chlorine and also potassium iodide. Saya panggil siapa di bawah Diana tadi tu? Bawah Diana adalah Hazimah. Hazimah.
Ya.
Try.
Yang mana?
Chlorine and potassium iodide. Ini displacement reaction. So potassium
Dapat
iodide itu sama juga.
tak payah padam 2 tu, sir. Padam yang Br belakang tu.
Ada yang Br belakang. Okay. So the reaction is possible, can occur. Okay, now let's look at the bromine versus potassium chloride.
Teacher,
Siapa
can I
bawah?
try?
Siapa tu?
Azim tadi.
Oh, tadi pergi mana? Toilet?
Saya dengar tapi itu tak faham. Belum faham.
Belum faham.
Sorry, sir.
Okay. Okay, Azim, try bromine and also
Potassium
potassium chloride.
HCl. Jadi bromine chloride. Yes. Ya. Potassium bromide.
Okay, potassium bromide. And itu je. Okay.
Chlorine gas.
Chlorine gas. Okay, good try. Let's look at the answer. If you look at the position of this
Tapi sir.
if you look at the position, what do you think? Does bromine has the power? Does bromine has the power to tak dengar lah apa Azim cakap.
Azim
macam
lag
menyanyi.
sir.
Azim?
Okay. Saya tadi lag sir. Sebab bromine
lag
bawa chlorine. Terus bromine bawa chlorine, so bromine tak dapat displace chlorine from potassium chloride.
So this reaction won't occur, won't happen. So ni takkan berlaku. And how about potassium iodide? Bawah kan? So you just replace this HCl ni dengan iodide. So dia boleh replace. So ni berlaku. So samalah juga macam iodine and chlorine. So iodine ni has no power to oxidize the chlorine. And so iodine has no power to get the electron from chlorine because chlorine akan tarik electron stronger than iodine. So this is not going to happen. Dan potassium bromide pun tak akan berlaku juga. So inilah yang paling loser sekali. So that is dia punya displacement reaction. Okay. Ni dia punya equation, you can see. Potassium bromide, chlorine, so dia boleh displace. Potassium iodide, chlorine. Chlorine can replace. Room temperature. Ni dia punya properties lah. They're yellow, and then yellow Br is liquid, red brown. And then the iodine is a solid. And then when you apply heat, so dia akan vapor, jadi purple. So this is another test can be used to determine the presence of the halogen. Kan? So halogen form insoluble salt with the silver and lead. So this is common test lah kan. So test for the presence of the halide ion tu, we add nitric acid and also silver nitrate. So dia akan jadi precipitate. Tu dia punya panggil biasalah. You have learned this in SPM dulu, that's very good. So the silver nitrate test for the halide ion. So dia akan produce white precipitate tu lah. Silver and halide. Okay. And then you can read later. Saya akan share. Ini apa yang berlaku lah. Okay. Okay, the last part is for the chemical properties yang korang kena tahu adalah you have to memorize yang bahawa What is this? This is my periodic table. From left to right, when we react with the water, so dia akan produce pH yang berbeza. So kalau dahulu, long time ago, the syllabus required student to memorize chlorine, oxygen and also water. So the current syllabus ni tak perlu pun. Yang penting korang kena tahu bahawa basic oxide, oxide react with the water ni. Yang metal oxide react with water, apa akan dapat? So dia adalah sodium hydroxide ataupun dia dapat base. And then this is this. And then dia akan ada amphoteric kat tengah ni, and then dia akan jadi acidic. This is pattern. Remember when you learn periodic table, always look at the pattern. Look at the pattern all the time. So this is syllabus lama lah ni, because they include the HCl. So whatever it is, you can read. So what does it mean by amphoteric? So it can behave acid, it also can behave like a base. Ataupun dia boleh react with that acid and it also can react with a base. So for example, is aluminium oxide. So aluminium oxide, if you react with the HCl ataupun hydrogen plus, so dia akan dapat ni lah produk dia. The reaction is feasible ataupun can occur. So untuk ni korang kena memorize. There is no way untuk korang tak memorize lah. Right? So in this case ni adalah base. And then ni adalah acid. So if you react with the water, contohnya water ni dia akan become like a base. And then dia akan jadi acid. So you will get this product. Right. So this is another base, and then this is acid. So you get this product. So amphoteric, itu yang dimasukkan. So this is amphoteric, ada dua properties, and then kita ada satu lagi remember amphiprotic?
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Do you remember what is amphiprotic?
No, sir.
No, sir. Tak ingat?
I remember the term, but I don't remember what it means.
Okay, amphiprotic no, dia adalah paling senangnya adalah water lah kan. So water can act like an acid and also water can act like a base. But how they act like acid and how it act like a base, the process altogether ni semuanya based on the proton transfer. Kalau hydrogen act like a acid, so dia adalah dia akan transfer proton lah, so dia akan jadi OH and H+. Kalau water act like a base, so dia boleh terima H+, and then dia akan jadi H3O+. Itu konsep dia. So amphiprotic. So amphi tu maksudnya ada dua property lah, acid and base. In this case lah kan. Dan kalau amphiprotic maksudnya proton tu boleh jadi receive or donate, macam tu. Kalau amphoteric, it can act like acid or base. So the remaining oxide from period 3, phosphorus to chlorine, will form acidic solution. You have to memorize this fact. Okay. Silicon dioxide and Al2O3 are insoluble in water. Why? Siapa nak jawab ni? Tadi saya panggil Hazimah kan. Kita tengok bawah Hazimah sekarang ni siapa dia? Hazimah, dia Hazimah, Tiana, Azim. So bawah dia adalah Wafi Khadijah. Tahniah Wafi dipilih. Okay, try your best without looking at the smartphone ke apa ke. In your opinion, why the silicon dioxide and aluminium oxide are insoluble in water?
Sebab dia non-reaktif ke? Oh,
Okay. Saya tak boleh kata salah sebab memang dia non-reaktif pun dengan water kan. But that is not the answer yang we are looking for. Saya bagi hint kat sini. Hint dia adalah kalau awak pakai berlian kan, orang perempuan pakai contohnya emas, dalam emas tu, cincin emas tu ada berlian kan. So kalau berlian tu apa dia sebenarnya Wafi? Berlian tu sebenarnya apa dia? What is the, when we talk about diamond, what does it mean by diamond actually?
tak, so saya ada ingat kataan dia tapi saya tak sure apa dia.
Saya ada ingat tapi saya tak sure.
Solid lattice structure.
Okay lah. Solid lattice structure. Okay. Good try. Wafi. So silicon dioxide ni apa dia sebenarnya? Yang korang tengok pasir lah kan. Pasir kat pantai tu. Kalau dia react dengan water, tak adalah pantai yang berpasir. So because of the giant structure of the silicon dioxide and also the aluminium oxide, that is why dia non-reactive ataupun insoluble with water. Silicon dioxide has little acid base, but it show weakly acidic properties by slowly dissolving in a hot concentrated alkali. Tapi dia boleh dissolve dalam alkali. From silicates. This is the process. Weakly acidic properties. Hot concentration alkali. So this is question pernah keluar dalam exam. There is no way for you. Yang penting korang tahu mesti produk dia, phosphoric acid kan. Like this phosphoric acid. If you write the equation and then suddenly you get base, so something wrong lah, because phosphorus tu it will form acidic sampai lah dekat fluorine tu. So all of them akan jadi acidic. So you can see here dalam textbook pun, dalam handbook pun ada rasanya. So these are uses of benda-benda ni lah. Okay, habis chemical properties. Okay, ada soalan? Okay, ada, saya tengok dekat chat box ni ada apa orang tanya. Okay, giant covalent structure. Okay, good. Covalent network structure. Giant covalent. Okay, solid lattice structure. If easier to dissociate, acidity increase tak? If easier to dissociate, maksudnya dia adalah strong acid. And so strong and weak, we talk about the strong and weak. When you talk about strong and weak tu is to what extent hydrogen iodide to dissociate kan. So what extent. So dia punya acidity dia, acidity ke term dia? Sort of macam tu lah, acidity, acid properties dia kan. Jesus.
Sir, are you sharing something, sir?
Tak, saya tengah baca apa yang korang chat ni. Single tu apa?
C.
We stand being single. Macam kurang single Okay, so kalau dah tak ada apa-apa, let's look at the IB question bank. Tengok sikit soalan dia keluar macam mana. Okay, which species has the same electron configuration as argon? Saya tahu. Argon ni adalah 18. So, you have to write the electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Lepas 3p apa dia? This is tip cara nak jawab soalan paper 1. Kita kan kena congak-congak je kan.
4S.
4s. 4s 3D kan. So 4s. So bermaksud dia, is it bromine? Oh. Is it calcium? Inilah jawapan dia. So it's a calcium 2+. So because calcium 2+, calcium ada berapa? Calcium ada 20 kan. So there are 4s2. But when it become the 2+, so we remove 4s. So dia akan jadi 18. So aluminium 3+. Tak boleh lah aluminium 3+ tu dia ada 13 elektron. So it become 10. So ni pun tak. Jawapan dia adalah B. So let's look at the answer. Okay, the answer is B. Which trend is correct going down group 1? Anyone?
D.
Okay, Haziq jawab.
Bukan. D.
Denmark.
D, yes, Denmark.
Okay. So jawapan dia adalah Denmark. No comment by the examiner as well. Property, senangnya soalan dia kan. Adalah senior korang score. Which property increases down group? Okay, bercerita tentang senior korang score kan last time. So last time the examiner notice untuk paper 1 ni, instead of 1 hour, senior korang siap dalam tempoh 20 ke 25 minit for chemistry paper 1. So masa exam invigilator to invigilate, dia orang cakap kat kita orang, student chemistry tengah jam dah siap paper 1. Pokoknya soalan dia keluar macam ni je. This is question May 21. So which property increases down group 1? Group 1, property yang increases je. Sekali tengok pun kita dah tahu dah. Jawapannya adalah kita dengar suara Arham. Arham, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Jawapan
What
dia
is the answer? When down the group.
estimated
Why?
radius. Estimated
Common
radius.
sense. Ya, common sense sangat. Sebab apa? Sebab down the group tu kita increase dia punya share kan, energy level. So no comment as well. Oh, ni soalan SL. Soalan HL sikit. What is the correct trend going down group 1 and 17? Yang manakah betul down the group 1 and 17? So kita panggil Ellie Ariana. What is your answer, Ellie?
Answer.
What is your answer for question
D ke,
next
sir?
question? Pardon?
D.
Bola.
Dot.
Dot. Ionization energy decreases. Okay, ionization energy decreases. Okay, good. The answer is D. Most candidates lack ionization energy as a property that decreases down. Soalan. Maksudnya korang dah, kira tu korang dah faham tu kan. Okay, which oxide will dissolve in water to give solution lowest pH? Okay, ni saya jawab lah. Saya pun nak jawab agak. So this is my periodic table again. From left to right, so it's a basic. And then it become acidic. Yang tengah-tengah ni amphoteric lah. So cross out aluminium oxide because dia amphoteric. Magnesium oxide pun sama. Now you have silicon oxide and also phosphoric oxide. So dissolve in water to give the solution the lowest pH, bermaksud dia adalah acid lah kan. So dia adalah acid. So we know that silicon dioxide ni dia tak dissolve dalam water, and then aluminium oxide pun dia tak dissolve in water. So mereka ni react dalam acid ataupun di dalam concentrated alkali tadi yang terbincang. So jawapan dia adalah A. So that is my answer, A. Fairly well answered. Oh, almost 70 candidates could identify non-metallic oxide. Okay. Tak ada yang susah dah lah. What are typical characteristics of metal? So jawapan dia adalah ni boleh try juga. Siapa nak try ni? So bawah Ellie adalah Hamra.
Yes, sir.
Hamra. What are typical characteristics of metals? Without looking at handbook ke, textbook ke apa-apa ke, use your knowledge.
Sekejap saya fikir sekejap.
Ya, kita kena berfikir. Betul? squeeze your brain to get the answer.
C kot lah.
Kod
Saya tak ingat.
kod betul kan, tak apa. Yang penting cuba. Kalau kita tak cuba, kita tak tahu kita punya actually kita kena cuba je dalam hidup ni kan. Try and error. Dalam matematik pun kita belajar apa? Kaedah cuba jaya kan. So when you try and then you... Right, so jawapan dia adalah A. Kenapa jawapan dia adalah A? Ionization energy low. Okay. Mungkin awak cakap, masa saya cakap metal ni ionization energy low. Okay. So you have to recall balik across the period tu yang saya buat graph yang this is hydrogen, this is helium, then you can fall to the lithium, increase to the beryllium, and then down at boron, and then increase you get pas boron you get carbon, oksigen semua tu sampailah neon contohnya kan. Dia akan fall balik to the sodium. Ingat tak graf yang macam tu yang kita buat tu kan? So yang saya cakap kat atas ni is always at the top is always noble gas, at the bottom is always metal. So specifically when you talk about ionization energy in general, kita refer to the first. Ni lah dia first yang graph. So it's a low. Electron affinity is a tendency to get the electron. (281) is for sodium. Sodium ni dia menyampah dengan satu ni sebab apa? Disebabkan satu elektron ni menyebabkan dia tak capai octet. So that is why dia buang satu elektron. So mana datang electron affinity? Takkan ada. Kalau tak ada, sangat-sangat rendah lah. Because electron affinity can be defined as a tendency to pull the electron to the itself, to receive the electron. What is the species that affin ataupun love the electron ni? Contohnya adalah oksigen. So dia menerima elektron walaupun elektron tu orang tahu negatif kan. So dia terima dengan dia sekali jadi negatif. Dah tahu elektron tu negatif, dia receive lagi another electron and then it become O2 minus. So non-metal or have this electron affinity but not metal. So the answer is A. In fact, kalau if you remember the graph tadi tu, you can cross out B dah out awal. So you can know that the answer is A. Jarang examiner komen agak emotional macam ni kan. So basically dia akan komen secara small numbers of student ni. Very disappointing result. I'm not sure kenapa dia komen macam tu. It's the last percentage of the candidate thinking metal have a high electron affinity. Sangat very disappointing. Okay lah. So you have to understand electron affinity tu is love electron. Metal tak suka elektron. Dia buang elektron tu. Because dia nak capai achieve the octet rule. Octet configuration lah, sorry. Octet rule. Kurang lah. Siapa tu?
Saya, Hazma.
Ya, Jimah.
Electron affinity tu bukan energy needed to attract one electron ke?
Whatever process regarding whatever process involve electron always involve the energy. And so electron affinity tu kesudian atom untuk menerima elektron. Lebih kurang macam itulah maksud dia. So mesti ada dia punya like energy dia. Understand? Dia just macam ni lah kan. I'm willing to receive you, contohnya kan. So give me some money. Seorang macam tu lah. Contohnya sama juga. Tapi when electron approach the metal, hey metal, can you receive me? Metal cakap, I don't want. Sebab apa? Because I want to achieve the octet. So oxygen cakap, when the electrons approach the oxygen, hey oxygen, do you want take me as your partner, contohnya kan. Then oxygen cakap, yes, sure. So dia punya mahar dia adalah negatif ataupun exothermic reaction. But when the second person ataupun second electron nak join the atom, so the first electron tu rasa macam insecure kot kan. So that is why they become endothermic, sort of macam tu. But the thing is, oxygen is willing to accept electron. But if you go to the metal, let's say the electron approach the metal, hey metal, you want me or not to receive it? Dia akan cakap tak nak. Benda ni, if you look carefully, so this is electronic configuration. I remember masa saya form 5 dulu, saya tanya my teacher, my chemistry teacher, nama dia Cikgu Kamariah. Cikgu Kamariah. Masa tu dia ajar topik ni, saya ingat lagi, saya cakap, dia introduce concept duplet and also octet. Why hydrogen atom, hydrogen tu stable kan? So because of ataupun helium, why helium tu stable? Because dia duplet and octet. So saya cakap kat dia, instead of 1, kenapa sodium tu tak terima je another electron, so that dia akan ada 282 duplet. Masa tu that is the knowledge yang kita ada saja kan. Then the teacher said tak boleh, because you will know it later when you learn in the foundation apa tu kan. Then bila kita ambil matriculation baru saya tahu, oh that is why tak boleh. So there is no way for metal to receive another electron, so jadi duplet. Pernah dengar konsep duplet and octet? Nah kan? So itu yang saya tanya, kenapa sodium tak terima je 2, so that dia jadi configuration 282. So stabil lah cikgu. And then the teacher said tak boleh, because at third energy level, at third shell ni, situasi dia besar and berbeza lagi. The answer just give in general. So metal tak sudi terima elektron. Itulah konsep dia. Right, give me the hardest question please. Lanthanide. Lanthanide ni korang tengok. Okay. Which element is a lanthanide? So you have to refer to the data booklet. So when you refer to the data booklet, then you will get the answer. So this is data booklet. Ada tanda macam squat ni kan. Macam tanda squat ni kan. Yang mana satu lanthanide and actinide.
Lanthanide yang atas tu.
Yang atas tu. Siapa jawab tadi?
Azima.
Hazima.
Leticia juga.
Saya tidak sempat sebut.
Oh, dia tak sempat sebut. Tak apa, tapi okay, good lah. The first one, lanthanide. So you just refer lah, all of them is lanthanide series kan. So dia digelar sebagai lanthanide ataupun actinide series ni because the head of this group, kita panggil head lah kan, saya beritahu kat korang, head of this group adalah lanthanum. So ni adalah lanthanum clan. So this is a lanthanum clan. Jadilah lanthanide. So actinide. Lanthanum come from the word, tak silap saya, actinium. Actinium ke actinum. Kurang gitulah. So jadilah actinide. Itulah. So this is lanthanide. So so you refer to the data booklet agak-agak yang mana jawapan dia? Jawapan dia adalah just refer to data booklet lah kan, jawapan dia adalah B. So, tak ada komen daripada examiner. Okay. How do the following properties change down the group? 17. Anyone? Kita santai-santai je, chemistry ni dah nak habis. Come on. How do the following properties change down group 17 of the periodic table? Afikah,
Yes,
what do you think?
I think the answer is, my answer is B. Down. Kalau down D, sir.
Down,
Down D.
D, Denmark.
Yeah.
D stand for apa? Dina. Okay, kita tanya Dina. Dina, do you agree with Afikah?
Agree, sir.
Dina, kita jawab ke Afikah?
Dina.
Suara dia,
Dina.
macam Afikah turun jawab, suara lebih kurang sama kan? Okay, so you agree with Afikah. Yeah, semangat setia kawan tu penting kan. S20B, bonding tu lah. So, actually jawapan dia partially correct lah saya katakan. So the ionization energy down the group 17 decreases, betul. How about the ionic radius? Increases. So jawapan dia adalah Cik Wan Dina. Bukan Dina saja, Cik Wan. Okay, C jawapan dia sebenarnya. Let's see the answer. Ionic radius kan. The other distractor were equally chosen by remainder of the candidate. 85 candidate know the trend of IE and ionic radius. Alright, so jawapan dia adalah C.
Sir,
Yes.
ionic radius dengan atomic radius pun sama je.
Beza. Berbeza. Satu atom, satu ionic. So, I give you one example. Kalau group 17, okay, good question. Siapa tanya tu?
Diana.
Oh, D is for Diana too. Okay. If you have sodium, let me tell you a secret kan. So, this is 2, 8, 1. But if you have sodium ion, now it's become 2, 8. So big, now it's become very small, right? So as the number of positive charge increases, therefore the size getting smaller and smaller. Same goes kalau awak against Mg2 plus kan. So the size of Mg2 plus ni lagi kecil and aluminium tu lagi kecil. So it is because of this is positive 1, positive 2, positive 3. Remember effective nuclear charge. So the more proton than electron ratio, so it will pull the valence stronger and stronger. Ini berbeza, okay? For group metal, sodium and sodium ion. Tetapi for group 17, let's say you have fluorine and you have fluoride. So fluorine tu is dia adalah 2, 1s2, 2s2, 2p3, sorry 2p5. So dia adalah 9 kan. So this is 7, sorry. This is 7. So the size is macam ni. This is atomic radius. And for fluoride, the configuration is 2,8. So the size is besar. This is ionic radius as well. So dia berbeza sedikit dengan sodium dengan sodium ion tadi tu. So, sodium ion tu besar and then dia akan jadi kecil kan. Tapi kalau group 17 when it becomes ion, the specific negative ion, so dia akan jadi lagi besar. You can see. It is because, like I said, fluorine ada 9 proton, 9 proton and also 9 electron. So dia dapat size ni. Tapi for fluoride, now you have 9 proton plus 10 electron. And of course, the attraction from nucleus to the valence tu semakin tak sekuat yang ni lah kan. This one because of ratio dia tak sama. I have 19 ringgit. So you guys ada 19 ringgit. So saya bagi seorang RM1. Tiba-tiba Arif bawa kawan dia seorang kan, contohnya. So takkan saya tak bagi kawan dia dalam kelas tu RM1 juga. So terpaksa saya bagi, tapi instead of all of you got $1, so maybe you get 90% ke kan, sebab dah nak bagi kurang-kurang, so semakin kurang. Itu je analogi dia. Okay.
Sir nak tanya juga.
Yes.
Ada ke term effective nuclear charge down the group?
Effective nuclear charge down the group, kita tak ada. There is no term macam tu because when we talk about effective nuclear charge, it's already explained according to the group. Kalau group 1, effective nuclear charge, all of them will have the positive 1, positive 1, positive 1, all of them. So group 17 contohnya, so they have 7. Semua group ni akan ada the same thing, the same effective nuclear charge.
Okay,
Any more
sir.
question? Are you guys hungry?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hal antum ju' wal atas jiddan? Naam. Aywa. Baik. Kita stop dekat sini because it's 10:29. Arif dah lapar dan dahaga sangat-sangat. So, kita continue with the next class. So, before that, I just want to wish you guys tomorrow apa dia orang sambut Maulid Nabi kan? Cuti betul tak? So, take your time to enjoy your family, rejuvenate and so on. Okay, thank you for your attention and your effort and also your patience, everything that you put in the class. I really appreciate it and see you in the next class. Assalamualaikum.